Hello viewers, wish you a very happy Diwali to all of you. Your exam is knocking at the door and ISC students are going to have their semester 1 within 15 days from now. So on the auspicious occasion of Diwali, I thought of uploading a video on Tempest Act 3 Scene 1 for the better understanding of the scene. First of all, I would like to thank all my viewers and subscribers for showering their likes and affections on my previous 2 videos. But this one, Act 3 Scene 1, is going to be more challenging for me because teaching a dramatic scene is more time consuming than a poem. Still, I would like to keep it within 45 to 50 minutes and I will try not to miss any significant point that Shakespeare tries to highlight in this scene. So without wasting any further time, let's begin. Let's start with an introduction to the scene, Act 3, Scene 1. In Act 3, Scene 1, we find Ferdinand as a logman. Ferdinand, the Prince of Naples, is bearing heavy pieces of logs. And though the task of bearing heavy pieces of logs is physically very tiresome, toilsome for Ferdinand, yet it fills his heart with pleasure. It fills his heart with a great satisfaction of serving Miranda. Now, one of the most dominant themes in this story is love at first sight. In many of Shakespearean comedies, Tempest is a comedy in one sense. So here also we have the theme of love at first sight. Ferdinand, who has arrived in this uninhabited island only a little while ago, the moment his eyes will set on Miranda, he will be absolutely mesmerized. He will be absolutely enchanted to find Miranda. Similarly, Miranda too, who has no idea about the features, about the human characteristics outside this island, immediately fell in love. She was held spellbound by the handsome youth Ferdinand. And what is Prospero's task of giving, what is Prospero's purpose for giving Ferdinand the task of bearing heavy logs? What did he aim at? Did he have any enmity with Ferdinand? Definitely not. Actually, Prospero wanted to check the sincerity, the genuineness of Ferdinand's love for Miranda. He wanted to check whether Ferdinand's love for Miranda is a platonic love. Platonic means unconditional love. Is a true love. Love that is not bound by any condition. Or it is just a passing infatuation, a momentary fascination. And Prospero was satisfied to see the way Ferdinand undertook this menial task, this low task of bearing the logs, though he is a royal figure, he is a princely figure. And look at Miranda. Miranda is grateful to her father for all that the man has done for her. Yet she cannot bear the painful sight of watching this handsome youth bearing the heavy logs. In fact, Miranda will propose Ferdinand to bear the logs while Ferdinand himself could rest. But Ferdinand is a true gentleman, is a chivalrous man. How could he do such a disgraceful task of sitting aside lazily and making a teenage girl go through rigorous work? So this is how Shakespeare has tried to portray love at first sight, and at the same time Prospero's design is gaining momentum. It was Prospero's design, it was Prospero's project that he wanted his daughter Miranda to get married to Ferdinand, and he was happy to see how both Ferdinand and Miranda have fallen in love with each other at first sight. So let us now go through the text. The scene takes place just in front of Prospero's cell, outside Prospero's cell. Enter Ferdinand bearing log. The meaning of log is wood. Ferdinand is acting as a wood bearer here. There be some sports are painful, and their labor delight in them sets off. Ferdinand says that there are some sports. Here the exact meaning of the word sport is physical exertion. There are some laborious tasks, some physical exertions which are painful. Painful in the sense physically painful, physically tiring, physically toilsome. Yet the satisfaction, the delight, the satisfaction that his heart and mind feels by performing this physically toilsome task absolutely compensates for the painful exertion. Why is it compensated? Because he can stay close to Miranda, and he feels that all these physical exertions are actually an offering to Miranda, whom he took to be some kind of goddess of the island. So the painful sport refers to only physically painful and not psychologically. Psychologically, Ferdinand is very charged up. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone. There are certain kinds of baseness. There are certain kinds of base tasks which are nobly undergone. Low task. After all, Ferdinand is a princely figure, and for a princely figure to undergo such base task is unaccustomed, unmannerly. This is something that royal figures don't do. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and poor matters point to rich ends. Poor matters refer to even the modest of labors, even the lowest of efforts can achieve the highest success, the pinnacle of success. Okay. And what was his ambition? What was his actual ambition? He wanted glory. The glory of courting Miranda. In this scene, the courtship between Ferdinand and Miranda has been beautifully portrayed. It is not a prolonged courtship, but a short and intense courtship in which both Ferdinand and Miranda have intensely fallen in love with each other, and their hearts are overflowing with the passion of love. This my mean task would be as heavy to me as odious. This is a mean task. What is the mean task? Here the mean task refers to the menial task, the servile task of being employed as a log bearer. Ferdinand has been appointed as a log bearer. By whom? By Prospero. And this task could have certainly been odious. This task could have certainly been physically tiresome to Ferdinand. But it is not. It is only physically tiresome. But the mental satisfaction he is getting rewards him. Not only compensates him, I would say rewards him. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead. This is a dead work. Log bearing is a dead work, means is a dull work, is a lethargic work. But the presence of Miranda, the presence of beautiful Miranda infuses a fresh life and energy into this otherwise dull task, and makes my labors pleasures, and all his physical exertions, his physical labors are turned into pleasure. His heart is filled with pleasure. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's crab. She is 10 times, Miranda is 10 times more gentle than her father Prospero, who is of crabbed nature. Crabbed means annoying, irritating. But we know, readers know that Prospero is actually not annoying. Prospero is a far-sighted person, and he is doing this only to see whether Ferdinand is just having a momentary infatuation, or is it a platonic, true, unconditional love, a love which will last forever. And he is composed of harshness. Ferdinand thinks Miranda is composed of softness, whereas Prospero is composed of only harshness. He is of harsh nature, bitter nature. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a sore injunction. Sore means severe and injunction means punishment. Ferdinand has been given a severe punishment by Prospero, and what was the punishment? There was a deadline. The deadline was the sunset. By sunset, Ferdinand will have to pile up these thousands and thousands of logs. Of course, it is a hyperbole, an exaggerated figure. Means he had to pile up many logs. But don't take it mathematically that Ferdinand was actually piling up 1000 logs, because it is not possible for one man to do so unless the person is a kind of superhuman. My sweet mistress weeps, means cries, when she sees me works. Ferdinand is yet to know the name of Miranda, and this is why Ferdinand keeps on addressing Miranda as his sweet mistress, and Miranda weeps, Miranda cries to see Ferdinand undergo such a physically tiresome work. And such baseness had never like executor. Miranda says, Miranda thinks, in fact the readers will agree, that a royal figure never does such menial task. Such baseness, the baseness of bearing heavy logs, is such a menial, servile, slavish task which has never ever been accomplished by royal figures, princely figures. And Ferdinand is a princely figure. He thought he was the king of Naples now, though it was an unwilling thought. He has no grit for the throne like Antonio, like Sebastian. But Ferdinand takes his father to be dead. He thinks that his father has drowned and dead, and therefore he is the next heir to the throne of Naples. So, has ever such a princely royal figure gone through such a servile task? Because these kinds of tasks were done by slaves in those days. I forget, but these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors most busiest when I do. But the sweet thoughts of whom? The sweet thoughts of Miranda freshens up Ferdinand, and his labor is turned to pleasure, and he feels the busiest. Here the busiest means the modern word is busiest. Okay, this is an archaic word. He feels most busy, absolutely involved when he goes through this work. You know, when you are studying your favorite subject, suppose your favorite subject is mathematics, and when you are solving the sums after sums, you get so involved as if you are under a spell of hypnosis. You become so involved and so busy that you do not even pay attention to what is happening all around you. You do not even pay attention to your thirst, to your hunger. That is what is happening to Ferdinand. He is absolutely oblivious to other things. He is in fact oblivious, that is forgetful even to his physical exertions. At that time, Miranda and Prospero entered, but Prospero is invisible. Okay, Prospero can see Miranda and Ferdinand, but Miranda does not know that her father was there. She thought her father was in the cave. He was busy in the study of magical books. And this is why this courtship becomes more amusing for the audience, because the audience knows that the invisible Prospero is right there, and he is overhearing them, he is seeing them, he is overhearing their conversation. Miranda, alas now, pray you. Miranda says, alas. She expresses her heartfelt sorrow because she cannot bear the painful sight of watching Ferdinand going through this menial task of bearing logs. Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. Miranda prays to Ferdinand not to work so hard, not to go through such unprecedented physical exertion. Ferdinand is going through physical exertion, and Miranda's heart is feeling sorrow, pain. She is going through a psychological exertion to see Ferdinand work like this. Can there be a better, a more intense courtship of love at first sight? Miranda has come to know Ferdinand only that day, only perhaps half an hour ago. And within half an hour, can you develop such intense passion and liking for someone? Yes, it sounds a bit absurd, but it is absolutely correct if we think from the point of view of the Elizabethan audience. Because back in those days, it was quite natural. If you read Shakespearean tragedies, you will find a lot of supernatural elements. Presence of ghosts, presence of witches in Macbeth, in Hamlet, in Julius Caesar. Because back in those days, people believed in supernatural elements. So try to read this not from the point of view of a modern audience of 21st century, but try to understand the custom, the belief, the society, the mindset of the people in the Elizabethan era. Work not so hard. I would means I wish the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoying to pile. Miranda says, I wish from the bottom of my heart that a lightning will strike and all these logs will be burned to ashes. The logs that you have been enjoined means commanded by none other than her father Prospero, because these logs should be burnt up for exhausting Ferdinand, for giving Ferdinand physical exhaustion. Pray, set it down and rest you. I request you, please set down the burden and rest yourself. When this burns, this referred to the logs. In the next line, Miranda personifies the logs and says that the logs are full of guilty conscience. The logs are full of so much guilty conscience for giving physical laborious exertions to Ferdinand, that when the lightning will strike, they will be burnt, and when the logs will be burning, right at that moment, they will shed tears of regression, tears of repentance for giving physical exertion to Ferdinand. When this burns, when the logs burns, it will weep for having wearied you. When the logs will be burnt to make fire as fuel for whatever cause, but in their dying moment, in their burning moment, the logs will feel repentant for giving so much labor to such a princely figure. My father is hard at study. Here the meaning of hard is busy. Pray now, rest yourself. He is safe for these 3 hours. Now this is a bit of irony, because what Miranda says is not truth, but the audience knows it, that Prospero is right there watching them, hearing them. He is not busy in study of magical books. He is not busy in his cave, but he is right there, invisibly present. So when Miranda says, my father is hard at study, my father Prospero is busy, and so you can set this burden. He won't get to see you. You can rest yourself. We are safe. He is safe means as long as he is busy, and whenever he sits to study, he doesn't get up before 3 hours. So for the next 3 hours, we are quite safe and we are quite unobserved, which is not the truth. But Ferdinand says, oh dear mistress. He keeps on addressing Miranda as mistress. Sweet mistress, dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do. Ferdinand must strive, must attempt to pile up these logs before sunset. He has been given a deadline by Prospero that by sunset he will have to complete his task. He will have to pile up all these logs without any halt, without any stoppage. This is a continuous work that he will have to go through till the sun is set. But Miranda proposes to work for Ferdinand. Miranda says, if you will sit down, I will bear your logs the while. Please, Ferdinand, you rest yourself and let me bear the work. Let me bear the logs for you. She is so much impatient to do so. She is ready to take the physical exertions. Now, just like Ferdinand is unaccustomed to this physical exertion, definitely Miranda too is unaccustomed to this physical exertion, because her father employs Caliban to do all such menial tasks, and never ever Miranda has to go through such physical exertion, yet she is ready to go through. She is ready to go through this menial task, this slavish task, only to provide some comfort, some rest, some repose to Ferdinand. If you will sit down, I will bear your locks the while. I would like to bear your locks. Pray, give me that. I will carry it to the pile. Now, Ferdinand is a gentleman. He is a chivalrous figure, a true gentleman. How could he disgrace his manly image by making his mistress go through the laborious task while he sits down lazily? Will you do it? Will any man of chivalrous nature make his mistress go through servile tasks while he sits lazily as an idle spectator? Definitely not. So Ferdinand immediately dismisses this proposal of Miranda and says, "No, precious creature, I had rather crack my sinews." Sinews means limbs. He is ready to go through this unending physical exertion even if it costs him the breaking, the damage of his body parts, his joints, his muscles. Break my back, then you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by. He is ready to tear his muscles by going through this unending rigorous work, but he will not embrace the disgrace of a shameful spectator who will watch his mistress go through the menial task like a slave. But Miranda has other thoughts. Miranda says she should do the work and she thinks she would be able to perform this work better than Ferdinand. Why? She gives reason. It would become me as well as it does you. Miranda says, "My dear Ferdinand, this menial task will suit me as much as it suits you. But I should do it, and I should do it." Why? With much more ease. Miranda thinks she will be able to perform this task with much more greater comfort and ease. Why? For my goodwill is to it and yours is against. Because Miranda is willing to do the work while Ferdinand is doing the work under a mandate given by Prospero. Ferdinand is being a logman most reluctantly, most unwillingly. And when you do something willingly, no matter how hard the task is, you will definitely be able to smoothly carry on with the task. So Miranda is willing to do it, and therefore she proposes to do it. And seeing this, Prospero, who stands invisible, says, "Poor worm, thou art infected." Poor worm, you are absolutely infected with what? Infected with love. You have badly, madly, totally fallen in love. And when you fall in love, I'm sure many of you have this kind of experience. After all, you are students of class 12. You have certainly taken a sudden, strong infatuation, fascination on someone. You know what happens at that time? Your heart is not in your control. Your mind is not in your control. Your happiness, your sadness depends on somebody else, not in your own hand. Okay, forget it. Prospero, poor worm, thou art infected. You are absolutely infected with love. Poor worm. Here, poor means like bechara, like a term of pity, because the person is so badly infected with love. And what proves it? This visitation shows it. The way you have paid a visit, you have showered your love for a stranger. After all, Ferdinand is nothing more than a stranger. This shows that you are badly in love with the person. And Miranda says, "You look wearily. Oh my lord, you are looking so tired. You look so exhausted." Ferdinand says, "Oh noble mistress, For the third time, Ferdinand addresses Miranda as mistress. "'Tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. Your presence can convert the darkness of night, the dead darkness of the night, into a bright, sunny, fresh morning." Do you find any similarity with Merchant of Venice Act 5? Where Bassanio compared Portia to the antipodes. You know antipodes? Two contrary points of the earth. When one point is facing the sun, there is day. In the antipode to the place, the other side, it is completely dark. And Bassanio said, Portia's very presence, if Portia just walks out to the other side, it will turn up to be a bright day. So Miranda's presence infuses freshness, energy into Ferdinand's lethargic body. Night stands for passivity, whereas the freshness of morning stands for activity. "I do beseech you." Finally, Ferdinand will beseech, means will make a polite request. What request? They have fallen in love with each other, but they are yet to know each other's name. Ferdinand would like to know Miranda's name. And look how in a beautifully poetic way he will ask for Miranda's name. When you ask for someone's name, you simply go and directly ask, "What's your name?" Ferdinand will not ask it in this manner. "I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name? May I know your holy name, because your name will be a kind of holy word for me that I will keep on chanting day and night. I will set your name in my devotional prayer." And this is why Ferdinand takes Miranda to be some sort of god. And Miranda, who was forbidden by Prospero, her father, to reveal her name to anyone outside this island, she breaks her father's command and she immediately reveals her name. "Miranda, oh my father, I have broke your haste." In modern English it is "I have broken." The correct grammar in modern English, not in Elizabethan English, is broken. "I have broken your haste to say so." H-E-S-T, haste means command. "I have broken your command by revealing my name." This shows that Miranda is already inclining towards Ferdinand. She has no control over her heart. In fact, she can't even follow the haste, the command of Prospero. Admired Miranda, indeed the top of admiration. Your name is at the pinnacle, is at the summit, is at the highest level of admiration. You are admiration personified. What's dearest to the world? The name and the owner of this name, Miranda, is the dearest treasure, the dearest possession that this world can boast of. And now Ferdinand says, look, both of them have fallen in love with each other at first sight. But whose love do you think is more intense, is more genuine? Definitely Ferdinand's love for Miranda. Why? Miranda has never seen any man except Prospero and that ugly monster Caliban. But Ferdinand has enjoyed the companionship of many beautiful ladies, and he has liked individual qualities in individual ladies. Like he has liked somebody's eyes, he has liked somebody's physical appearance, he has liked somebody's voice, he has liked somebody's gentle behavior. But each of them had a flaw which overshadows the noble, beautiful qualities. But when Ferdinand got to see Miranda, Ferdinand felt that Miranda is perfection personified. Miranda is the perfection of flawlessness, is the personification of flawlessness. he feels that Miranda seems to have been created out of the every individual best quality out of each girl. And he says, full many a lady I have eyed with best regard. He has seen, he has enjoyed the companionship of many ladies with best regard. Best regard means with full attention, with full sincerity. And many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. Diligent means attentive. Here Ferdinand refers to someone whose voice was enchanting. Such a beautiful voice when she used to speak. Absolutely captivated the ears and the heart as well of Ferdinand. And Ferdinand felt like he would keep on listening to this voice for the entire day. But that person too had a flaw. Each of them had one flaw at least. But Miranda is flawless. For several virtues have I liked several women. He means to say that he has liked different qualities in different women. Never any with so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed. And but never has Ferdinand found, he has wholeheartedly seen someone who is completely flawlessness personified. Because the other girls that Ferdinand had seen had one flaw that quarreled against, and that overshadowed the noblest and virtuous qualities that the girl has. But you, oh you so perfect and so peerless. Peerless means matchless. He calls Miranda matchless because she is unrivaled in terms of virtue, in terms of beauty, in terms of nobility. Her second match cannot be found in this world. Oh, you so perfect and so peerless are created of every creature's best. You seem to be created out of the best quality of every creature. Now Miranda has no idea about how boys look, nor does she have any idea about the looking of girls, because she is restricted to this island. She came to this island when she was only 3 years old, and she has seen only one woman's face, that is herself in the mirror. Except her own face, she has no clue about the features abroad. And Miranda says, I do not know one of my sex, means I do not know any other female. No woman's face remember. Of course, you two don't remember anything when you were 3 years old. How could she remember her mother? How could she remember any other woman who used to tend her in her infancy? More that I do not know one of my sex, no woman's face remember, save from my glass, means except my mirror, my own. She has seen her own face in the mirror only. Save means except. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend, and my dear father. She has seen only 2 men so far. One, her father Prospero, and the other is Ferdinand. Caliban cannot be taken as a man in the true sense of the term. He is half human, half monster. So she is absolutely clueless about the physical appearance of people outside the island. And this is the first person whom Miranda called her friend in last 12 years. She had no other friend. She had no other companion. How features are abroad, I am skillless of. She is absolutely clueless about the features, about the physical appearance of people outside this island. Abroad means out of this island. But my modesty, the jewel in my door, door means something which you inherit from your ancestors, which you inherit from your forefathers. She has inherited modesty, integrity from her father. I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape. Look at the intensity of her love. She is absolutely clueless about the features outside this island. So it is quite possible that there are many more handsome youth, more handsome than Ferdinand, but neither is she interested to see them. In fact, she doesn't permit her imagination. She doesn't permit her imagination to draw the shape, the face of a handsome youth, and if she wants to get married, she wants to get married to Ferdinand alone and no one else. I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape. Even her imagination is not drawing any shape that she could fascinate besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too widely. Most of you prattle in your classroom. Prattle means loose talk, rubbish talk, wasteful talk. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget. I have forgotten my father's precepts, means instructions. I have completely violated the instructions of my father. And Ferdinand now introduces himself officially. How does he introduce himself? As the King of Naples, as per his thought. Remember, he is free from greed. He is repenting this. He is not happy to recall that his father is dead. But he has taken his father to be dead. Just like Alonso has taken for granted that Ferdinand is dead. So now Ferdinand officially introduces himself. I am in my condition means as far as my social status is concerned, a prince, Miranda, and I do think a king. Quite painfully he recalls that he is perhaps a king now. I would not so. In bracket it is written. Because he has no ambition to become a king if his father is alive. He wants his father to remain king, but unfortunately, according to him, his father is no longer alive and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. This wooden slavery, the wooden slavery refers to the task of piling up the logs. This task of piling up the logs would have appeared as disgustful, as abhorrent as he would allow flesh fly to defile his mouth. Will you allow any fly which has been suppose flying from garbage to garbage, from meat to meat, will you allow the fly to kiss your lips? Certainly not. If such a filthy, stinking, foul fly flies near your lips, you will immediately dismiss it. Ferdinand would have dismissed the log-bearing task with the same disgust, but he has not. Why? Because by going through this laborious, abhorrent, disgustful task, he is offering oblation of love to Miranda. Oblation means prasad. He is offering something sacred to Miranda. Hear my soul speak. Not only his mouth is speaking, his heart is speaking, his soul is speaking. My heart fly to your service, there resides to make me slave to it. My heart has already flown to your feet, and my heart, as I have said, when you fall in love with someone, your heart is not in your control. The remote control of your heart is in the hand of somebody you admire, somebody you are fascinated with. Okay. So And for your sake, am I this patient logman? It is for the sake of Miranda and no one else that Ferdinand has been acting as a logman. That Ferdinand has been acting as a wood bearer. Today is Diwali, so I apologize if you can hear some disturbing noise in our surrounding. Miranda, do you love me? Now Miranda directly asks this question, do you love me? And look how passionately Ferdinand proposes Miranda. Oh heaven, oh earth, bear witness to this sound. He calls all the heavenly gods, angels and the earthly creatures to bear witness to Ferdinand's official proposal to Miranda. And crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. And if I am speaking truly, then please make a declaration of my love. You too shower your blessings, your grace upon us if I am speaking true. But if hollowly, if I am speaking hollowly, if I am speaking wrong, I invert what best is boded me to mischief. Whatever good charms I have, please convert it to all the bad luck. All the good charms will be converted to bad luck. I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize and honor you. Beyond any measurement, Ferdinand's love for Miranda is limitless, without any limitation. Miranda says, I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of. She is glad that Ferdinand has proposed her, but she feels stupid that she is crying. And Prospero says aside, fair encounter of two most rare affections. This is a fair encounter of two most rare affections. Heavens rain grace on that which breathes between them. Love is breathing between them, and let the heaven grace a heavy shower of blessings upon this couple. Wherefore weep you? Ferdinand asks Miranda. If Miranda is happy to receive Ferdinand's proposal, then why is she crying? And she answers, at mine unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give. Miranda desires to give herself. She desires to give her love. She desires to give her soul, her body to Ferdinand. But she considers herself absolutely unworthy, unlessoned, unschooled, someone who was brought up in this island and has no knowledge, no clue about the features outside this island, and much less take what I shall die to want. And without this, without love, if she does not get the love of Ferdinand, she will die. But this is trifling, this is a petty, insignificant argument. And all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Miranda is a teenage girl, so she should be shy, coy, bashful. But she wants to hide her emotions, her romanticism. But the more she is trying to hide her romanticism, it is getting revealed. Her romanticism is spontaneously flowing out of her heart and being uttered through her mouth, through her confession. And therefore, she would no longer try to wear the garment of coyness, the garment of shyness. Here, bashful cunning, and prompt me, plain and holy innocence. Therefore, hence bashful cunning. he addresses the bashful cunning. Bashful refers to shyness. She wants to give up her shyness. She wants to give up her coyness. And what she is going to speak now, it is out of her holy innocence. It is out of her innocent state of mind. And when your state of mind is absolutely innocent, whatever you speak, there is no duplicity, there is no hypocrisy, there is no fallacy to it. She leaves her bashful cunningness and she wants to speak out openly and ask, I am your wife if you will marry me. If you agree to marry me, then I will live as your wife. If not, I will die your maid. And if you are not interested to marry me, then please allow me to serve you as your maid till my death. Look at the intensity of her love. If Ferdinand does not accept Miranda as his wife, she will not marry anyone else, but she will continue to serve Ferdinand as his most faithful slave till her last breath. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but Ferdinand, you have every right to deny me as your fellow. As your fellow means as your equal companion. Refers to wife. Wife is the equal companion of husband. That Ferdinand can deny. But Ferdinand has no right to deny. But I will be your servant whether you will or no. Whether you have the desire or don't have the desire. Whether you accept me or you don't accept me, I will serve you as your servant in case you don't marry me. But somehow Miranda can't spend the rest of her life away from Ferdinand. And Ferdinand is happy too. Ferdinand says, my mistress dearest. Now the term mistress, wife, is fulfilled in the true sense of the term. And I thus humble ever, and forever I will remain your faithful, your humble husband. And Miranda says, my husband then? Then from now on you are my husband? Ferdinand, I with a heart as willing as bondage over freedom. What is the deepest longing in the heart of a slave? A slave who has spent his entire life in bondage craves for freedom. The same intensity is there in Ferdinand's heart too. Ferdinand wants to marry Miranda with as much a strong emotion as a slave has for freedom. Here is my hand and mine with my heart in it. Miranda offers her hand to Ferdinand along with her heart. Heart means obviously allegorically her affection, her consent, her love, and both of them shake hands. It's not only shaking of hands, it's like two hearts getting knotted in a divine tie. Here is my hand and Miranda says, and mine with my heart in it. And now farewell till half an hour hence. For the next half an hour, we will meet after half an hour. 1,000. Now Ferdinand and Miranda exit, and Prospero is very, very happy at the outcome of this love at first sight, and now he feels confident that his project is heading to the right direction. At the same time, since Ferdinand and Miranda have agreed to marry each other, now it is confirmed that Prospero will not have bitter revenge upon Alonso. Prospero will forgive Alonso, because it is imperative that Miranda and her father-in-law Alonso share a close bonding of relationship. So glad of this as they I cannot be. It is true that I cannot be as much glad as they are, who are surprised with her. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. Nothing can make me happier than this happy outcome. I will to my book, for yet now he is going to turn to his magic books, because before supper time, supper time means before supper time, must I perform much business appertaining. Appertaining means related to it. Before supper time, he has to perform such business which will require his magic. So this is how the scene which deals with love at first sight, which deals with a brief but intense courtship, and which deals with a happy outcome, comes to an end. I hope I have been able to explain it within 55 minutes. Otherwise, in offline class, it takes me 70 to 80 minutes, 80 to 90 minutes to teach one scene. Thank you. Happy Diwali.